Well, hello. This is Brother West, this is Prophet West coming back to you once again. It's still early. No, it's noon now. It's about noon. This Tuesday. The year of the Lord is raining here in Atlanta. And I do have a direct word. I have a prophetic direct word for someone, some individual that's been seeing the same old cycle. You find yourself facing the same old person, the same old personality, and you find yourself becoming victim to it. And so I'm talking to the person that there's a warfare. There's a warfare that you're in, and this warfare is almost like this warfare is seasonary. There's certain seasons that there's certain things that try to attack you mentally, physically. There's certain things that try to attack you in your dreams. And so what it is, it's like witchcraft. That's one of the words that I hear is witchcraft, and also a stronghold. There's a witchcraft and a stronghold in the cycle, and every season there's a certain warfare. Every season there's a certain sickness that arises. There's a certain condition, or there's a certain depression that comes upon you. Every cycle there's a certain depression, there's a certain oppression, there's a certain thing that pulls you down, because in certain seasons there are certain things that is connected to your heart, and because those things that are connected to your heart in those seasons, you find yourself going through like a roller coaster. It's like you're up and you're down, because what's crazy is that when the cycle, or when that season, or when that day comes, it's almost like your body, it's almost like your mind, everything embraces for that particular thing. But God is saying, I come to let you know and see, because you have been crying out for this cycle to be broken. You've been crying out for so long for change. Sorry about that, something on my face. And so, but what I come to tell you is that God has heard your cry, and He saw your tears. And the cycle that you find yourself in, and you feel like you're a victim. It feels like you're a victim to depression. It feels like you're a victim to depression. It feels like you're a victim to this situation, to this circumstance, to this person, to this individual. It feels like you're a victim, and it feels like you're bound. It feels like you're caught up in the trade winds of your time. But I come to let you know that God says the curse, the cycle, where it comes around over and over again, but this time God said it's broken. And the reason why it's broken, because God said you passed that test. That's what it was. God has given you the victory. God has given you the understanding. God has given you the access out of that situation. God has given you the know-how. He's given you the power. He's given you the ability to say no. He's given you access. And that's what I hear in my word, in my spirit, that God is saying to someone that God has blessed, to someone that's come through that test, for someone that cycle is broken. God is saying the door is ajar. The door is ajar. So that means that walk into your blessing. Walk into your blessing. Walk into what's for you. Walk into what you've been through. Walking through the reward, through your suffering from well-doing. See, because in well-doing, there's a timetable for your due season. For your due season in your well-doing, there's a timetable. And the timetable is here. And the timetable is now. And so just like it's raining here. It's raining. Rain is coming consistently. God has said your blessing is flowing. Your blessing is going to fall. Your blessing is going to come down from heaven like the dew. Your blessing is going to come down like rain. Your blessing is going to come from the north, the south, and the east and the west. The blessing that God is sending your way is going to overtake you. Your blessing, the blessing that God is sending you, is going to overshadow you. The blessings that God are sending you, that is going to burst out from the seams. So matter of fact, what's been holding, what's been going to try to hold your blessings are going to become so great, and the blessings are going to become so big that it's going to burst from the seams. There's a bursting that's taking place in your blessing, that what God has for you in your heart, and what God has for you that's coming on bursting. Matter of fact, even in your heart, there's a bursting. In your heart, there's a release. In your heart, there's a breaking. There's a breaking. There's a breaking. And in that breaking, there is water coming up. There's a fountain coming up. There is life coming up. There's restoration. There's joy. There's wisdom. There's understanding. There are things that God has in you. And see, because you've been in a dry situation, and you've been in a dry place. But now, and while you've been in that dry place, God is causing your oasis in your desert. He's causing the oasis in your desert, in your dry situation, to spring up. So in other words, God is going to satisfy you. God is going to replenish you. God is going to renew you. God is going to revive you because of you hearing his word, and because you're obedient, because of your faithfulness, because of your determination, because of you trusting in God, and because of your faith. Because of your faith, God is going to cause that cycle. That cycle. God's going to cause that pain. God's going to cause everything that's been gripping you to be broken. It's broken, it's broken, it's broken. And so what you must do is say, God, I receive. God, I receive your word. God, I receive your deliverance. God, I receive your healing. I receive your healing, because your healing is coming from your obedience. And the activation of your healing is coming from you hearing God's sound, hearing God's word. When you receive God's word, that word is going to activate in your spirit. And that word is going to cause something in you to leap. And that leap means that it's broken. That leap means that you're released. That leap means that God has lifted you up. God has caused you to go forward. God has caused you to move. God has called you to arise. That's what that leap is. That leap is being brought out of bondage. That leap is being transformed from darkness to light. That leap is going from pain to joy. That leap is going from the spirit of heaviness. And God give you that garment of praise. There's a transformation in your leap. There's a transformation. There's revelation knowledge in your leap. There's wisdom imparted in your leap. Amen. God bless you. Have a good day.